It's time to talk with Jay Foss.
Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too, Jay Foss.
The magic happens when you have the right person in the right place at the right time.
If we're having fun, everyone else is going to have fun naturally.
Keep it local radio.
I'm obsessed with transformations on this show. And so I guess that in this case, you are that paradigm shift. You are the thing that transforms people. That's what people call me.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in.
But then the question is everyone tuned into the right frequency?
Are you tuned in?
Making our corner of the world a little brighter.
Did you make the right decision here? Like, are you, did you bite off more than you can chew?
In figuring out what makes people tick whenever we start something new.
Yeah.
There's always that question of
raising your inner voice.
Wait, was this too much? Did I start hiking a mountain that's a little too high for my level of experience?
With Jay Foss.
It's a quote by Thoreau. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Not just another talk show.
We cover all things that make us human.
It's time to be heard.
How can my values and how can these inner thoughts that I have help me be a more whole human being?
Online and on air.
We can't legislate being a good, decent human being. So what can we do? We can become more active in this community.
Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people. Welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice. We take this time together, we take these evenings together and delve into what it is that makes you and I both human. We cover lots of different topics, but mainly I'm interested in listening to each other and figuring out how it is that we are making each other's lives better, because I think that we're all interrelated and interconnected in ways that we don't even know, we don't even understand completely. In ways that I kind of go into these deep dives, one way is by having guests on and to share and explore different venues and avenues with each other. So I happen to have a guest on tonight. Dolores Hirschmann is from Masters in Clarity. And Dolores, thank you so much for being here. Tell me what Masters in Clarity is all about.
Hey, Jay, thank you so much for having me. In Masters in Clarity, it's not about me mastering my clarity, but it's helping people master their own clarity through processes and frameworks that I teach.
And what are some of these processes and frameworks?
So let me give you a very clear example. So one of the things we do is we help people communicate more effectively, speak on behalf of their ideas and their companies. And so I believe that as a creative, we need structure so that we can play inside. Think of a sandbox. You know, I have kids. I had sandbox in my backyard. Imagine if our sandbox in our backyard didn't have walls around it, like impossible to play in the sandbox. So frameworks allow us to create a space, a container where we can play. I love that you said, you know, when we are having fun, everybody's having fun. I believe that fun is an ingredient of connection and performance and creation, really. Without fun, there is no creation. There's just work, and who wants to work, right?
Absolutely.
So by for example, I teach a 7-step framework where I always say I break down a signature talk in like a paint by number structure, so that if you fill out the 7 boxes, the 7 steps, you cannot not have a good talk. You can always make it better, but you will have covered all of the elements that makes a great talk.
Yeah, completely. I think we're on the same page, absolutely, about the majority of the work that you do. And so I should mention that you help speakers, authors, and clients take their message to a larger audience, right?
Yes.
But I think that what you're talking and what you're doing can apply more than to just speakers and authors. I think there are ways that we can all kind of hone in on our lives, figure out what the point of life is.
Absolutely. And I would say one of my clients last week, she said she's in her 70s, and she said she's loving our program, she's learning a lot, and she said, little did I know, I signed up for a course on learning how to speak, but I was able to negotiate with my lawyer. I was able to communicate my needs with my neighbor. And I think, Jay, that I understanding who we are and who the people around us are begins with communicating. Well, first of all, the inner communication, right? Like, our own self-talk is critical, and that's a whole other ballgame, and that's mindset and a lot of things. But what we say and how we say it matters because our words create our lives.
Yeah. Well, and so you're a very creative person yourself. Talk to me more about where your creativity comes from. Where does that derive from?
As who I am is my I am. I'm a visual person. I am. I think for me, and in our journey of adulthood, we sometimes lose a lot of our play, right? A lot of our fun. And I'm 52. I'm a mom of 4. And so I'm in an intentional journey of reclaiming my fun and reclaiming my play. And I find that the more I do that, the more fun I will have at work, and the better my business is doing, and the better results my clients are having. So where does my creativity come from? Well, it is in my DNA. I believe that we all are creators in different ways. Like maybe we manifest it differently, but we are all our creators, because creators, I think, is tied also to our purpose, a reason for existing, and when we understand that, then a whole lot of things open up for us.
Absolutely. Well, and do you find, are most people interested in delving into their purpose, or at least people that you come across?
So I believe that getting to the why am I here? I mean, it can look like many things, but some people might call it purpose. Some people might say reason for existence. Some people might say, I am empty and sad inside. I don't know what's happening to me. So some people can approach it from the clarity of, I need to find my purpose. I need to know my why. I need to know why I'm here for. Or some people, sometimes it's easier to identify what is not happening or what is not working, or the negative experience we're having. And I believe that however you approach it, it's always a gift, because that's the beginning of an exploration.
Yeah. You sound like a very adventurous person, viewing such big challenges as exploration.
Yes. So, first of all, one of my top values is adventure.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a quick story. So in my background, I'm a marketer. I have a business strategist. I'm also a coach. I'm a life coach and leadership coach. And it all came about when I was 38. And this is my journey of clarity, right? At 38 years old, I was a mother of 4 kids. They were all little. They were all born in six years. So I was pretty busy, but I was still very lost inside. I remember my mom saying, like, you're good. Like, you don't even have time for yourself. You're running around like a headless chicken with 4 kids here or there. But I kept saying, what am I here for? What is my purpose? I had this feeling of a elephant foot pushing on my chest, like I was running out of time, and there was something I needed to do. That was just my experience. And at the time, I was working part-time because work is part of my passion. And I was in a meeting with the person I was working with, and a simple question was asked, which was, what do you want? And I had no words. I only had tears. And so for me, my experience of clarity began with deep confusion and deep feeling of being lost, feeling lost, and feeling like I was running out of time. That if I didn't figure out what I was here for, and this might sound very weird, but I would just be, I was a mom and a great mom, and I love being a mom, but that there was something more for me that I couldn't intuitively feel I was heading towards, and I didn't know what it looked like. And so being confused and being lost is a big part of the clarity journey. And in that process is when I went on back to school. I started coaching. And in that process, I discovered the concept of values and understanding what our values are. And I'm coming back to your statement of adventure. But in one of those weekends of coaching, I discovered that my top 5 values, one of them is adventure.
Yeah.
And at the time, you could say I was in a deep adventure of being a mother of 4 kids, but I didn't see it that way. I felt like monotonous lunchbox and driving. And so I came back from that weekend, discovered that the value of adventure was a top value, and I was not honoring it. That's the purpose of understanding our values,
Right.
because you know that if you're not honoring them, something's something's off. So I came back home and I told my husband, I got it. And he said, what did you get? I said, I have a value in adventure, and I don't think I'm honoring it. So I'm moving. We're moving home. I'm from Argentina. We're moving home, and so that was like February, and by July, I moved my 4 kids out of school. They were doing really great. My mom is like, "You're crazy. All your kids are doing great, like 2nd grade, 4th grade, 5th, and 6th, or something."
Okay.
And I moved them out of school. I moved them to Argentina for 6 months. Put them in a city school. So I live in the suburbs of New England, between Boston and Providence. My kids went to school in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, with water views.
Okay.
I put them in a school in downtown Buenos Aires,
Wow.
and going to school in public bus with uniforms and in Spanish.
Yeah. Completely different. Totally life-changing, I would imagine.
Life-changing. And in the concept of adventure, people think about adventure as all like fun, exciting. An adventure is an adventure. There's fun and exciting, and there's miserable and hard, and everything in between.
Right. Oh, absolutely. We cover the extreme of those realities and feelings on this show quite a bit, because to your point, right, it's about perspective and the way that you understand how you're living. And so you can understand that as it could be exciting, but it could be scary, right? I mean, those go hand in hand.
We had the whole range of emotion. I remember at the time, my mom someone suggested, I think it was my mom, to write a blog, like a weekly something.
Yep.
And it was 2013. And so the name of this newsletter or blog or postings that I was doing was called Here We Go. And it started with like, here we go. I remember it was a week like this, July, wet and hot and muggy. And I was packing for winter in Buenos Aires. And probably, I remember we landed on July 18th because it was my birthday. So literally almost a week from today, I packed 3 of my 4 kids because my oldest was traveling. I packed 3 of my 4 kids and changed them from summer clothes to winter clothes. And we got on a plane and we landed in winter Buenos Aires.
Wow. And you're up for this challenge. Did your husband have reservations about any of this?
Well, if you ask my husband, he said that he put on his seatbelt when we got married in 1997, and he keeps making it tighter.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, because you're adventurous. Oh, that's so funny. So good. Dear listener, for anyone just tuning in, this is Raising Your Inner Voice. And this evening, we're speaking with Dolores Hirschmann. And Dolores, tell me more about kind of the clients who you work with and how you're able to help them.
Yes. So I work with small business owners. These are companies under $5 million, owner run or owner operated. And I look to do a couple of things. First, understand their business strategy and their business model, because many times a business owner will be so in the middle of the soup of their business that they forget what they're actually doing. And they forget that there are other opportunities that they could be exploring. Number one. Number two, the belief that build it and people will come is actually not true. You actually have to market. Like if you have a really big party, you must send invitations so nobody will show up. You're going to pay for the caterer. You're going to put the decorations and nobody show up. So I help them market, but market in the way that feels right for them. I believe in what's called a marketing attraction or client attraction, in pull marketing. I've been in the space since 1996. As I said, I'm from Argentina, graduated from university in 96 in Buenos Aires, and my graduating thesis was marketing on the internet, relationship marketing. I was one of 30 connected to the internet. I'm 52. 1996, I was 24. It's a long time ago. But it's funny that I'm still in the same line of business, and I believe that the internet and technology and now AI are tools to expand and accelerate human connection. But
Yeah.
if we forget that we are humans talking with humans, then it all falls apart. And I still believe that in spite of all the technology we can find out there, the last mile is human.
Yeah. Well, and to that
last mile is
point,
human.
social media has been such a big uncovering of us not remembering that we're dealing with humans, right? I mean, because it can easily dwindle into an area that no one even wants to be in, and it's not healthy for us because I think we forget the humanity behind the interface that we're interacting with others on. So, do you have any advice on kind of keeping that human connection available and appropriate for people?
Yeah, so there's a range, and I think in the world of AI, we're going back to like, so showing up online, it's a double-edged sword because you want to show up in your best light, but you also want to show up in your real light. And we went through the era of like filters and touch-ups and Photoshops. Then we went like, okay, let it all loose. Like go in with no makeup. And I mean, I don't have any makeup now, but although you can see me, but no makeup and no too much sharing. And right now in the world of AI, you don't know if what you're seeing is real or not.
Right. Yep.
And so, it is a tricky question because I was with a client yesterday who was sending a video to her clients, and she happened to have a shirt, and there was like a little water stain in the shirt, like nothing big deal. And she sent me the video to review before she used it, and I noticed the water stain, and I didn't say anything on purpose because it's like, I mean, it wasn't, it was not dirty. It was like she must have just drunk a sip of water. But it was so real.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. If I say something, she'll be self-conscious. She'll do it again.
Right.
But so I didn't say anything. And it happened that someone who received the video, this was a very specific video she was sending to 10 people only, who pointed it out. And my client was brilliant about it. He's like, yeah, you can tell it's not AI. I was drinking water and I did the video. I say, hey, Susan, and here we are, right?
Yeah.
And it was literally a one-on-one video that she was sending to 10 clients.
Okay.
But it's like that dance is how do I show up in my best light? Because it's still, you want to be professional and appropriate.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in your sweatpants with a bed not made or a dirty background. But at the same time, be real. So social media, I mean, you and I will be watching, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
And we'll see how we overcompensate for the fakeness and the AI-ness in social media.
Absolutely. Well, and
By the way, I love AI
yeah.
as a tool.
Tell me more. How can we utilize it as a tool better? Because I think that it is something, right, that is supposed to be beneficial for us. Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah. So it is a tool. It's like, so for me right now, it is a tool that saves me a lot of time, helps me sometimes improve work that I'm doing, allows me to not start things from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, give me a list of this. So I don't have to spend 2 hours looking in Google. I can go into ChatGPT and allow it to create it. Turning thoughts into well-presented decks. I've used Gamma a lot. Turning long videos into 30-second reels. I use Opus Clip a lot. Like, I mean, there's tools.
Right.
But there's still tools like when I started. So you'll laugh. 1996, I pitched the first website to McDonald's worldwide.
Really?
At the time, I pitched it to McDonald's Latin America that was headquartered in Argentina.
Okay.
But McDonald's didn't have a website anywhere.
Yeah.
And I remember that they brought in, we did a conference call with global McDonald's. And their argument was like, why do we need this? Who would use this? And I said to them, look, it's a tool that people will want to have. And I said, at a minimum, I should have been smarter. I was too young and I wasn't commercially focused. I should have bought McDonald's.com and sell it to them.
Yeah.
I didn't. Instead, for free, I said, guys, at a minimum, go and buy McDonald's.com, McDonald's.com.ar. I should have charged a boatload for that advice.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I didn't. I was just being nice and I was naive. I was 24. And at the time, they were like, no, who's going to use it? Why would I put my products online? Why would I put the nutritional value of my products online? It's like, well, transparency is going to be a thing and people want to know. And they shut me down.
Well, and that's not surprising because that's people living in an older mindset and an older mentality, right?
I was 24 and too young, and he's like, no, that's a new idea. It's like, so now you have the 24-year-olds doing AI, and we're like, oh, no, that's never going to stick. It's like, just watch me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and how can we collaborate? How can we actually do this so that way it benefits all of us and not just some of us? Which the people who adopt and adapt to it are going to be the benefactors ultimately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dear listener, for anyone just tuning in, this is Raising Your Inner Voice. And my guest this evening is Dolores Hirschmann from Masters in Clarity. We're going to be back right after this break, speaking more and hopefully giving you some clarity on your purpose in life.
Stay with us as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
Hi folks, this is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. If you're replacing the windows in your home, please see the Anderson 400 series windows on display at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire. The Anderson 400 is attractive, durable, energy efficient, and reasonably priced. Remember, Anderson is the most trusted name in windows. See the Anderson 400 at any of our 3 locations. That's North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
If you have any issues, topics, or voices that you think would be great to be heard on this show, please reach out, jay.foss@me.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, record a voice memo and email it to me, or tune in live, Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
How's your 401k? I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but we can prepare you for life's twists and turns. We'll make a plan to help your money last through your retirement years. Our team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. Let us help. Visit noblefinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Making our corner of the world a little brighter, online and on air. Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
And we are back with Raising Your Inner Voice. My guest this evening, Dolores Hirschmann, is with Masters in Clarity. Give me more of an idea. Where did your business come from? Where did it stem from?
So, I was a business owner before this. I actually had multiple businesses. I had a clothing business. All of my businesses at first were stemmed from a need or a gap or wanting to help someone. So I started with a clothing company to help my friend in Argentina who had a co-op of low-income women doing knits and handloom.
Okay.
And I brought the products here. I ended up in Miami Fashion Week, selling in New York City. We did great. And then I started a school because I wanted to raise my children bilingual. And my mom is like, well, can't you just hire a tutor? No, you have to start a whole after-school program with 160 kids, Rosetta Stone partnership. Anyway, so I've always been driven by finding a need and solving it through a business.
Yep.
That's my MO. And this business particularly was after, as I was telling you, my 38-year-old, what do you want? And I only had confusion and tears, went into coaching, launched my coaching business, and I thought I was going to be a full-time coach. And little did I know that I would work with people and help them like find their path. They were also confused. And the path ended up always saying, oh, I have a passion for this. I'm going to start a business on this. And then they would go and start a business and find a strategist and do all the business side. And I'm like, whoa, wait, that's the part I also love.
Yeah.
And so that's where I pivoted, and I realized that where I wanted to play was in the space of ideation, strategy, and creation around business. And so Masters in Clarity was born out of pivoting from being a full-time coach to being a full-time strategist that has a magic wand because I'm a coach. So I'm a coach in disguise.
A coach in disguise. I love
so
it.
whether you want to improve your life or not, you're going to if you hire me as a strategist.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, I believe that our creations, call it a business, are only going to grow to the edge of our personal development. So we will grow to the edge of our fears, to the edge of our comfort zone. And unless we intentionally and with self-awareness expand our resilience, expand our capacity to be with the uncomfortable, we will operate within patterns of safety. It's not conscious. We don't know we're doing this unless we sit down and recognize, I keep I grow to $1 million and then I shrunk, or I take 10 clients, but the 11th always falls apart. Like there is patterns that we see in our business that repeat themselves if we dare to look. And a new strategy is not going to fix it. A new strategy paired with recognizing our internal patterns of behavior will fix it. That's why being a coach, a life coach who can understand what is not said, who can understand the saboteur having a field day sometimes with my poor clients. Because when I present a strategy, what I'm looking for right away is what are all the saboteurs that are going to come into play? And then we name them, and then we talk to them, and then we deal with them.
So where
with love, we don't deal with them. It's not like I know people who know people. It's like with kindness.
Yeah, of course. That's
I can tell you're having fun with me today.
Of course I am. Yeah. Well, and I find digging into these deeper issues, I do find is fun myself, right?
Yeah.
Where does the element of fun come? Why is fun such an important value for you? Because you mentioned that earlier, and I wanted to dig deeper into fun. Like, where does that come from?
So one of the things I do every year is I find my word for the year. And I've recognized in the last few years, I think I forgot to do it in 2025. I'm late into the game. But in the past, fun has been the word of my year.
Okay.
And fun, it's not ha 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 fun. Fun is a combination of flow, of not taking myself too seriously, of being willing to make mistakes, of creativity for sure, of so many ingredients. Fun is not just slacking off and partying, by no means. Fun can be a great book. This is fun.
Yeah.
Having an intentional, thoughtful conversation with someone that cares to listen is fun. And so for me, fun is a way to measure my well-being and my presence and my capacity to really be in a state of higher vibration, higher creation. And you and I can agree that all of that will lead to higher performance. And I'm not just talking business. higher performance as a mother, higher performance as a partner, higher performance as a friend. It's like higher version of myself.
Yeah. Well, and another way of phrasing that would be being the best that you can be, not in a generic sense, but truly in a unique way, right? In how we're all odd and different and unique and unlike other people, but being the fullest version of that
expression of ourselves. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you done a lot of conscious work? It sounds like you're very focused on intention as well as kind of the whole picture for people.
Yes, I mean, I've done my work as a trained coach, and I've explored all the things. I'm as you and I have agreed already on this. I have a value of adventure, and so adventure can look like going on a trip or trying a new massage or new therapy. I'm a hypnotist by training,
Really?
because I'm curious, because I try things. I don't practice necessarily all the time, but it's one of my tools in my toolbox.
Yep.
And so the answer is yes. I believe that we can live by default or by design, and that's a cliche, but it's also true. And by design, it means that we are self-aware. We are self-aware of what experience we create for ourselves and the people in our world, how we show up, what do we wear, how do we present ourselves, like my background in my office, the words that I use, the words that I use in my own internal conversation.
Very important. Yeah.
I've evolved a great deal, and I am now pretty not only self-aware but aware. And if you and I are in a conversation, you say, "Well, I'm thinking of doing that," and then you say to me, if I do this, and it's like, no. If you are committing to doing something, when I do this, like those things matter. Those are actually the details. I mean, the devil's in the details, and the details that will actually make or break your life.
Yeah. I want to talk about hypnotism for a second. That you piqued my interest there by bringing that up. How does that work?
Haha. So it really is about language.
Okay.
And creation. So language creates.
Yeah.
What we say out or what we say to ourselves creates. Like, we think about it. How do you think in your brain? You use what?
Words. Yeah. Language.
Words. Language. It's how we are wired. It's how we exist as humans. And so in hypnosis, what it does, and you can have someone hypnotize you. You can also self-hypnotize.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you basically create, using language, a future that doesn't currently exist.
Yep.
And you create a movie or a script for that future that doesn't exist. It's almost like I'm going to tell a story in present tense, but something that is happening in the future.
So how is this different than like visioning?
They're all there. So it is a combination. There's two things. You need vision. You need to get clear on what do you want to create. So you need visioning.
Yep.
And then you grab that vision. Let's say you do one exercise I ask my clients, and I practice a lot, is, 12 months from now, you're waking up on a Thursday, July, no, it will be Wednesday, July 10th, 2026, and you're doing a journal entry in present tense. You say, oh, it's Wednesday, July 10th, and I'm so happy and grateful that now I am living in the house of my dreams, or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You create that in present tense. That's a visioning exercise. So what you do is you grab that visioning exercise, and you, if this is what you want, right? And you create a script around it, and you feed that script into your unconscious brain in a state of relaxation. Instead of, I think I always confuse it, but it's like beta or zeta, like in the state of unconscious awareness.
Yeah.
And so basically you're having a conversation with your unconscious and you're telling your unconscious, this is the life I'm creating. Or if you're afraid of ants or you're afraid of spiders, you create a scenario where you experience yourself in a situation that in the normal life would scare you. And you repattern your brain, you resignify an experience into an experience that you want to have it look something different. So in hypnosis, you create that script. It's called a hypnotic script.
Okay.
And you either, if I'm the hypnotist and I'm working with you, I understand what are your goals, what do you want, and together, I can either do it together or do it on my own. But I create a script that will serve your goals, and then I create a space to have you relax, so that you are in that unconscious state of awareness, and your conscious brain is kind of like not shut down; it's asleep. You're always in hypnosis. You're never out of it. You're always aware. Like if something were to happen, you're out in a second.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, you never in and there's a lot of rules as a hypnotist, but your brain, and your conscious brain doesn't shut down. You're just in a state of intentional relaxation, and the role of the hypnotist is to make you feel safe so that you can do that. If you don't feel safe, your conscious brain won't allow you to do that. It's our basic survival mechanism.
Huh.
Yeah. Like if you're ever in danger, your conscious brain kicks in.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like a state of almost falling asleep. Your body won't fall asleep if you're in the middle of a hurricane.
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Right.
And so there's conditions that are important. But let's say that I'm the hypnotist and I get you in a place that you're safe, and you can do it in person or virtual, doesn't matter.
Okay.
And you agree, and there's also there is free will. Like the person has to be willing to do this. If you don't want to do it, nobody can hypnotize you.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a big element of free will. And so you agree to be in this state of relaxation, and then you spend 15-20 minutes. The hypnotist will feed you a script based on what you want, and then it walks you out. And then what happens is you start planting a seed in your brain of this that you want. One of the strategies for hypnosis is recorded hypnosis. I can record a hypnosis session, and you can listen to it over and over again. You also can record yourself, and it's actually pretty powerful to hypnotize yourself, because now it's your voice in your voice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would see that as being much more powerful.
It is very, very powerful. And have you ever heard of the concept of a mantra?
Yes. Yeah. So kind of a phrase or a short sentence that you're using to kind of repeat over and over again.
And the goal of that mantra is to anchor yourself to it becomes, in coaching you call it an anchor, or it's a tool for self-regulation, but also to reinforce. So you can have a hypnosis session and then have a code word that will get your brain to connect with that vision or that goal or that imagery at any point in your day. So that once you plant the seed, you can just tap into that energy. You're creating an inner rhetoric. And as we agree that words create, what words do, like think of it, thoughts create feelings.
Okay.
Feelings create behaviors. Behaviors create results.
Yep.
So if we feed certain thoughts, we're going to feel certain way, and that feeling will allow us to behave in certain way. For example, if I say to you, if I ask you to think this thought, I lost my wallet, or I can't find my wallet.
Yeah.
What's the feeling what did you feel?
Like frantic and, right, crazed.
You know it's not true. You're
Yeah.
having a conversation with me. There's no reason, but I did it in present tense, and the tense of verb matters. And immediately you felt a feeling.
Yeah. Yep.
And you had to override the feeling to be your conscious mind say, wait, that's stupid because I'm sitting here, I didn't lose my wallet. But you couldn't help but have the body have a chemical reaction.
Yeah. Yep.
And so the feeling will get into panic or reactive or anxiety or whatever. And if we are living in a non-intentional way, in a default way, think of all the thoughts we think all day and all the feelings those thoughts create. And if we are not in control, not intentional, and easy to deregulate, which most humans are, so how are we living? Are we living reactive? We're living in fear. We're living in anxiety. And it's so much of it, and we have no tools for it if we haven't done any work, that what are the outcomes in your life? Whatever is happening in your life right now, whatever dramas or craziness you have in your life, I'm sorry to say, it's self-created.
All of it. Yeah. Because of the thoughts that you're thinking and emotions that you're feeling and the habits that you're forming, which cause the results to happen the way that they do. I mean, there are certain things that are outside of our control, though, right?
But what is not outside of our control is the thoughts about those things.
Yeah. What you mean, like whether we're labeling them good or bad, or what our reaction to them is? Yeah.
I mean, life happens. Things happen. Like we get sick, our loved ones get sick. We have situations happen that we may or may not have control of. But how we show up for them. Years ago, and this is a little personal, but I'll share a little bit. Years ago, and kind of like a trigger that led to a lot of my personal growth and my business growth was I am a mom of four. My kids were little, and I was second income. My husband was first income, and that was how we did our life and our choices, and that was disrupted. And it was a family matter, family business. You can imagine, the mess. And we went into very dark times as a family with my husband's family for 5 years. And I remember sitting down with my husband and said, look, we won't remember how this ends because one day this will end. Doesn't matter. It could do 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, but one day the rain stops, right? Well, I don't know. This week, I don't think the rain stops. But anyway, we'll see if the rain stops. But anyway, one day things finish, right?
Yeah.
But you won't necessarily remember how it ends, but you will always remember how you lived through the mess, how you showed up, who you were, how you behaved, the decisions you made, the words you said, the experiences you created or failed to create for your family. And so he and I made a pact, and I said, and we actually made a list of what are the things that we would be doing as a family right now with our kids if this wasn't happening.
Huh.
And we made a commitment to, as much as possible, there were financial restrictions, there were a lot of things that had changed, but we tried to identify what are things, experiences we wanted to have as a family, that if we didn't put that focus and intention, it was a time in our lives where our kids, we have kids for about 18 years.
Right. Yeah.
And then they go to college and things change really quickly. And we were aware that our oldest, I think, was 15 at the time. And if we were not careful and intentional, we could spend at the time, we didn't know how long it was going to be. It ended up being 5 years. But we were at risk of losing ourselves in the process, losing our values, losing the things we wanted to experience as parents and as a family. And it was a very important conversation. So you could say I mean, and I can also say the mess that we were in, I'm sure we were part of creating it. Like, I mean, because I'm sure there were parts of myself or whatever that had something to do with it. But we, in spite of that, and there were things that we were probably responsible, things were not. But how we lived it was up to us.
Yeah.
How you live that thing that's happening to you, that illness that is experiencing, that loss in your family, that financial loss, storm, hurricane, flood, that is free will, and that can be intentional and thoughtful.
Right. So interesting that you keep on bringing up free will. Last week on the show, I had a guest call in talking about kind of the free will aspect of our lives, right? He was mentioning that if you dream it, then you can make it happen for yourself, right? So I'm always torn because I strive for balance. So to me, there is absolutely that side of free will where you can respond how you want, but then there's also the restrictions of life as it's handed to us.
Well, so you'll laugh. So I like to cook. I'm not a great cook, but I'm an okay cook.
Okay.
And I love to cook when I have very limited ingredients in my fridge.
Yeah.
Because when restrictions happen, you can have two ways of looking at it. You can shrink what you could create, or you can enhance your creativity and make more with very little.
Yep.
And so, yes, and play bigger. Mix those ingredients differently.
Right, right.
Restrictions are so if we want to look at them that way.
Yeah. I like that. That's a really good perspective on that. Dear listener, I hope that you are playing in your life. And my guest this evening, Dolores Hirschmann, is with Masters in Clarity, and we're speaking about many different things. We're all over the map, and I love it. We're having a fun adventure covering anything and everything from having more fun to hypnosis and the way that you envision your own life, and hopefully getting clarity on your own life. And at that point, we're also gonna take another short break here and let you reflect on some that we've talked about. We'll be back in just a couple minutes here on Raising Your Inner Voice. We'll be right back.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice.
Are you worried about the stock market, your 401k, or rising costs? Hi, I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but our dedicated team of professionals can better prepare you so your money lasts as long as you do. Let us help. Visit NobleFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Hi, folks. Paul from Chantilly Brewing. Have you been to our tap room in Beverly, Massachusetts yet? No? What? Oh, come on. All of our beer is gluten reduced, and we make our own hard seltzer cocktails and shandies. And we are dog and family friendly. Always. Our tap room is more than just beer. Pack up the kids and the dogs and come to 59 Park Street and see it for yourself. Or leave them at home. You'll be back. For upcoming events, hours, and to see our current beer list, visit GentiliBrewing.com. That's GENTILE Brewing.com to plan your visit.
What does living a better life mean? And what's your process in figuring that out? If you want to join in the conversation live, tune in Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to gather your thoughts first, record a voice memo and email it to jay.foss@me.com, because I would love to have your voice in this conversation. If you think someone else might need a conversation like this one, then let them know to get involved.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. Professional builders choose Anderson Windows because they are the #1 trusted and recommended window and door brand in the United States. Anderson Windows and patio doors offer beautiful natural wood interiors, low maintenance exteriors, and outstanding energy efficiency. See the complete line of Anderson Windows on display at Moynihan Lumber in Beverly, North Reading, and Plastown, New Hampshire, or visit us at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
Not just another talk show, it's time to be heard. Online and on air, Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
And welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice. This evening we're speaking with Dolores Hirschmann regarding Masters in Clarity and getting clear on your own life and how you can do that. And she's dropping some very helpful tips on doing that. I want to go back to intentions for a second. Do you set intentions for almost everything you do?
It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. And very serious work at that.
No and yes. And the reason why I say that is that so here's what I'm saying. No, because I'm not like waking up in the morning and I'm going to have 3 glasses of water and run 10 miles. Like, no. So no, I have intentions for my values. So I'm very clear on what are my top 5 values.
Yeah.
We talked about adventure.
Yep.
Beauty is a value I have, not physical beauty of like makeup and things. You can tell like I'm pretty basic. It's just, I like to surround myself with beauty. I like to create beauty. I like beauty as a sense of balance and elegance and nature like that. So anyway, belonging is another value. Creativity is another value. So
what does belonging look like?
Belonging looks like being included. Like, for example, if there's an event that I feel called to and I'm left out, I will get hurt. And it happens a lot of time. It happens.
Yeah.
But understanding that, because sometimes we have an emotion and we're like, what is happening to me? I'm so sad. But if you understand what your values are, and that there was an instance where somehow, because of your creation or a relationship, whatever, you were left out and you get really hurt, if you understand your values, you can unpack that. And say, oh, yeah, well, I was mean to her. And I wasn't invited. Like, I remember being 15 and mean to a girl, and then she didn't invite me to a party, and it hit me really hard, and I couldn't understand my feelings. There is, I was left out. It was my creation because I had not been nice. Like, that kind of unpacking. But I understood that belonging is a big part of it. And doesn't mean that I will be included everywhere. But when I am left out, I can understand and navigate my emotions. So what I'm saying here, Jay, you say, are you intentional about everything? No, I am clear on my values.
Yeah.
And I look to honor them. And if I honor my values, the things in my life that I care about, I don't have to set an intention of going for a walk. I like adventure. I like creativity. I like belonging. I like being healthy. So going for a walk it's just something that I want to do without having to have a process of setting an intention.
Yeah.
So my answer was yes, but not in the way you're thinking of lists and micromanaging every minute.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly where I was going with it, is that it sounds like a lot of serious work because it would be trying to control too much in our own lives.
I am against control. Like, literally, it's not about control, micromanaging. Is when you start living in a way that when we realize, Jay, and we take personal responsibility that what is happening in our life today is likely, well, it's not likely, it's 100% our creation. Not that we can control a hurricane, but the experiences that we have in our life is our creation. That is not about micromanaging our intention, our day-to-day, is about being in a flow, clear of what we want, and being being intentional.
Yeah.
Of of the words we use to our own conversation, to our people. Like if I walk out of this meeting and start screaming at all my people in my house, what am I going to create? I'm going to create tension. I'm going to create a moment of not fun. I'm going to create a reality that I would not like.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'll think about it twice. And I know that if I do that, which I do sometimes, is a reaction to not being able to regulate myself. And it happens to all of us. But when we're aware, we can do something about it.
Yeah. Aware of how we're feeling and being honest about it too, right? With ourselves and I guess with other people as a result also. But firstly with ourselves, because that's where our being and our essence stems from.
Yeah.
So good. Dolores, thank you so much. As we're wrapping up the show, any last thoughts from my listeners on how they can implement and kind of pay more attention in their own lives?
Yes. So first of all, look at your life and recognize that a lot of what you're living, I know it's not easy to digest this truth bomb, but a lot of what you're seeing in your life is your own creation. And once you start there's so much magic when you take personal responsibility and become intentional what you want in your life.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, so if there are things in my life that I want to change and I'm getting frustrated about that, right? What do I do then? Because frustration leads to the opposite of flow.
Get curious. Or call me.
Yeah, there you go. Get curious. Explain that a little bit more.
Well, I think we're going to have to do another whole episode on that.
I love it. Dear listener, I hope that you gained a lot from this episode with Dolores. Hopefully you're gaining clarity in your own life and you've had a meaningful Sunday evening with me here on Raising Your Inner Voice. We take these deep dives each and every Sunday. Feel free to call in the show. Let me know what you're intentional about. You can dial in 617-843-5393, or you can just shoot me a message, jay.foss@me.com. And we'd love to feature you on Raising Your Inner Voice. But in the meantime, go ahead and do what I say to do each and every week. It's not just keeping all this goodness to yourself, it's sharing it with other people as well. So please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace with others.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please help spread the word about Raising Your Inner Voice. Join the conversation live. Email jay.foss@me.com to suggest ideas to explore. Also share this podcast with your friends. Let those who need conversations like this have a chance to check it out.
Then let them know to get involved.